some of the people I grew up with still think what I do is not even real. They think it's not possible to do what I do and have as much free time as I have, but also make as much money as I do. I guess what I'm really good at is getting people to make a deal with us. We get basically everything that we want. They get some of the things that they want, but at the end of the day, they think it was their idea.
Listen up, if you are feeling like a lone wolf mired in mediocrity. That's how I felt. I felt that way 4 or 5 years ago, a lone wolf. I couldn't communicate with the people around me anymore about the ambitions and the goals that I had. In fact, I was vilified by my network for the ambitions and the goals that I had. So for me, it took finding the right community to unlock me. And what I would encourage all of you to do is join the tribe that defies the odds and goes beyond what anyone thought is possible. Even you may have big goals, but almost every member I talk to a month later says, I thought I was thinking big. This is where you can learn how to think even bigger. Gobundance is a community of men and women who have said no to living a conventional life, who are committed to conquering, protecting, impacting, and leaving a legacy. With these 6 life-elevating, life-changing pillars that we lean into, you'll experience physical conditioning, a supportive tribe, bucket list achievements, peer partnerships, giving back, and a lifetime of wealth building. Join the tribe. Join me. This will help you step into your true self and live an epic life. Visit Gobundance.com, fill out an application, and we'll make sure we're matching you with the right community for you. Emerge up to $2 million in net worth, 2 to 10 elite, 10 plus champion, and for our ladies, there's Gobundance women, and those that aren't millionaire women yet, we put you right there and emerge with all the other amazing folks that are driving towards something huge. So Gobundance.com. Make sure you apply today. Enjoy the rest of this episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Today's guest, Damon Amato, is a Gobundance member, entrepreneur, investor. We're going to get into some projects he's got going on, or at least a big project he's got going on as we go through the show. But Damon, brother, welcome. Glad to have you.
I feel like I finally made it. I'm on Jamie Gruber's podcast. I'm here.
Yeah, you can say that, actually. I agree wholeheartedly with that. When you're here, you've made it.
That's right.
That's it. So, all right, let's dive in. Let's learn a little bit more about you, your backstory, where you're from, all that good stuff. So kind of give us the beginnings through now of who is Damon Amato.
Sure. I was born in Maryland. My parents got divorced at an early age. I think it was 6 or 7. Lived with my mom and my brother. He's about 2 years older than me. When I was I think I was 9 or 10. My mom had acute appendicitis, had to have emergency surgery. At the time, we didn't have health insurance. And she was just working like some cash odd jobs, like working at antique stores and stuff like that. So we didn't have any money to pay for the medical bills. So we had to sell our house. And so at the same time, my uncle in Massachusetts had just bought a foreclosure, and it was a 4-bedroom house. And he said, why don't you guys come live with me? So that's what got me up to Massachusetts. My brother decided to actually stay in Maryland and live with my dad. So after I was 11, I actually didn't even live with my brother. And then oddly enough, he ended up going to college at Boston University, and I went to Northeastern. So we were right down the street from each other after that. And then we were nearby each other for a while. But I actually got my degree in athletic training, worked doing that at the largest high school in Massachusetts for a very long time. And at some point decided that athletic trainers don't get paid very well, and was preventing me from traveling and paying bills and doing things that we wanted. I basically said, well, I got to figure something else out. So I found Fortune Builders, which is a real estate education company. Flip houses with none of your own money. Not true. Can be true once you have experience, but when you're starting out, not so much. That's how I met my business partner in 2015. And we started off just, we did a rehab together, and then we did a few wholesales together. A new construction project fell in our lap, and we did that together, and we've just kind of grown organically since then. And now we do a lot of land development. So we permit subdivisions, condo complexes, mixed use buildings. We build luxury spec houses. We've got a portfolio of multis. I've got a self-storage facility that actually I partner with a another member of Gobundance, Sergio Altamari. So we have that together. I'm a general partner in 4 syndications right now. So yeah, good bit going on.
Not too bad. Now, fortune builders ain't cheap. Do you remember what you paid for it? Or are you
No.
willing to share?
So when I did it, this was 2015. So I want to say I paid 25,000.
25 grand. That's a lot. I mean, you're
To get
making
into
your salary is probably, not multiple times that as an athletic trainer. So
no. At the time, I think I couldn't have been making 52 grand a year.
Wow. So how and why? Walk through that. Like what made you say, you know what, I'm going to do this?
Well, what they do is they catch you with a radio ad, which hasn't changed in 15 years. You go to a free 2-hour seminar and they give you the teaser explanation for how it goes. And then they say, if you're interested, we're doing a full weekend over 2 days. And it was only like $300 and you can bring somebody with you. So I brought my mother with me because she was interested in it also. And they explained a lot. Actually, the guy who was the main speaker in it, I'm still in contact with. He's out of Rhode Island. Between myself and my mom, I was like, not only do I know I can do this, like I really want to do this because I feel like I can crush this. So she lent me the money to pay for it. And so that's how I was able to get in and do that.
Was it worth you've done a lot with it, but was it specifically in hindsight worth the investment, the stretch?
Well, see, through Fortune Builders, I found my business partner. And together we've done, tens of millions together. And it also helps, sometimes you find somebody that buys a wholesale deal or you find a lender or a contractor. So it is beneficial. Is it worth 25 grand? No, it's worth something for sure. But,
Sure.
I think the tough part is it's like, I've been in for 8 years now and locally, there's 2 coaches in Fortune Builders that run a monthly meetup at somebody's rehab project in the area. And, I go every now and then just to catch up with people, see if there's anything new going on. If I feel like every month it's the husband and wife that run it and me, and everybody else is brand new. And that's because I want to say less than 1% of people that join Fortune Builders are actually like flipping houses or doing even real estate, 12 months later. And I don't think that's Fortune Builders' fault at all. I think people just get in, they see the dream, they don't understand the work involved.
Yeah.
They try it out and it ends up for whatever reason not being for them. And it could have happened to me. The first deal I ever did, I almost lost my shirt. I lost over 120 grand on my first deal because I did partially my fault, partially other circumstances that did it. But most people after that would say, well, screw that. Like I'm going to get a job. I got to work overtime. I got to work extra hours to pay off all this debt that I owe. And all I could think about is I need to find more deals so I can pay this off. And I wasn't going to give up after one failure.
Were you still working when you had that one flip or did you quit your job already?
No, actually it's between 2015 and 2018. I had 3 jobs, got my master's degree, and I was doing real estate.
No kidding. Holy cow. Do you mind going through that deal? Like what was it that made you lose on it?
Oh, sure. I was actually one of the units was on TV. It was on Beachfront Bargain Hunt.
TLC.
One of those house hunting shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good story. It was a 5-unit condo conversion on the beach. It was my first deal, so I had to get hard money. So I think I ended up, and I had to get it through a broker. So I was paying 12% and 5 points for that. And we bought the building for I want to say 860 or so. It was 2 buildings.
40 grand in points?
Yeah. And it was 2 different buildings. One of the older building was below the floodplain. I didn't realize this until about a week before I was supposed to close. So between interest payments, flood insurance, and utilities, the first 4 or 5 monthly payments I had were like $32,000 a month. And I didn't have $32,000 a month. if you can believe it, at the time anyway. So what did I do? I hustled and I found 2 or 3 wholesale deals where I literally the entirety of it I used to pay my mortgage payment
No kidding.
while
Just as you
I
go.
was renovating. Yeah.
Wholesale
Yeah.
pay mortgage, wholesale pay mortgage, just
Right.
like that.
Right. And then part of the problem was the older building was 3 units, and there's a kind of an esoteric rule that you have to get an appraisal of the building, and you're only allowed to renovate up to 50 or use funds up to 50% of the appraised value of the building. And if you go above that, that triggers FEMA regulations to come in, and now you have to bring the entire building up to today's code. And if that happened, I would have lost a unit because I would have had to put the building on pilings. So the appraisal of the building was about 210,000. So I had 105,000 to renovate that building, which I was just going to overlay the drywall, vinyl plank flooring, kitchens, baths, paint, and be done with it. And unfortunately, my general contractor didn't know this rule and took out all this drywall that was kind of moldy. And then the building inspector came in and said, now you have to bring the building up to code, unless you can show me that you're going to renovate this for 100. So I had to show that I was going to basically gut renovate a 3-unit. They were like 800 square feet each. So about 2,400 square feet building, sprinklers, everything fully new, siding, roof, interiors, decks, for $105,000. And luckily, I made a budget. It was clearly fake. Sent it to the building inspector. He didn't want to call FEMA, so he said, "Okay, go ahead." In real dollars, it was 340 grand.
Oh my God! Holy crap! No kidding. Where's this? So, all right, you're flipping or you're wholesaling to pay the mortgage. You said it was an $860,000 purchase.
Yeah.
First deal.
Yep.
Where are you getting the funding for down payment? Where are you getting the funding for $360,000? Is this all your partner? Are you raising capital? Like, where is this all coming
No,
from?
I didn't have my partner yet. It was just me.
Just you.
Just me. So the down payment, my wife and I borrowed the max from our current 401ks, because you can borrow up to 50 grand each.
Yeah.
So we used that for the down payment. I had a little bit of money squirreled away because I used to play a lot of online poker. So I had a good bit of money from that. But yeah, I was basically doing wholesale deals to make my monthly payments until I renovated one of the units and actually sold it back to one of the people who sold it to me, somebody in their family. And that cut my payment in half. So after that, I was able to survive and sleep at night a little bit.
Yeah.
But the additional funding for the older building and my general contractor actually stealing stuff and trying to charge for not doing work hurt quite a bit. So I did that, and then I was able to, because the leverage was a lot better after the first sale, I was able to refi out of that loan, get more money to finish the project, and finally, a year and a half later, finished it out.
Funny thing with real estate investing, my first deal, not like that, but my first deal was like an accidental landlord situation. And then, over time I lost money, but it wasn't like a chunk in one setting like that, which is insane. But, even on subsequent properties, I'd underestimate rehab costs by a lot, whatever, but you keep going for whatever reason. What was that for you? Like, what was it? You're in this deal. It's gotta be stressful as hell. You're wholesaling these other properties to pay the mortgage. You finally sell a unit, cut your mortgage in half. But at the end of it all, you're down 6 figures. Probably, I would guess 20,000 cash, plus you couldn't pay your 401k loan back the way you wanted to, I would guess. So right. What made you go for number 2? Like, what was it about that deal that said, you know what? No, but actually I'm going for number 2 here.
Well, again, I mean, when you're in 6-figure debt, at least as an athletic trainer, doing per diem, making, $35 an hour, it would take forever to pay that off. But, at least in Massachusetts, you can easily get a wholesale deal and make 20, 25, 50 grand. So I thought, well, I may as well put my efforts into that, because I know I can do that. And if I do, it'll be a lot quicker to get me out of that hole. And the 401k, you have 5 years to pay that back anyway. So
sure.
That did take 3 years to finally fully pay that back. Yeah.
Where were you wholesaling? If you don't know, what towns, what areas?
Boston area, like Arlington, Somerville.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um, and actually that's how my business partner found me, because three of those deals were just right on MLS,
Mm.
and he was like, how the hell did you wholesale something right off MLS? And I was like, well, I saw what other people didn't see, and I brought the value, and I knew the right people, so I was able to do it.
Interesting. That is interesting right off MLS. Was that a negotiation tactic, like something you're great at with negotiation, or was it like, how did you do
um
that?
yeah, I would say I'm definitely I would say I'm above average at negotiating for sure. And I'm able to get people to, I guess, see things the way I see them, which is, helpful for me. I'd say my business partner always loves to get me to negotiate, because he loves that. A lot of times, I guess what I'm really good at is getting people to make a deal with us. And, we get basically everything that we want. They get some of the things that they want, but at the end of the day, they think it was their idea.
Mm.
And that I think is the trick, is
Man,
is in negotiation, getting other people to think that they have you.
we just booked Chris Voss to be on the podcast. Never Split the Difference guy. Screw
Yep.
it. We got you. We'll bring you back. You could teach it. How's that sound?
I love it. Awesome.
When did you pay mom back, and how?
Well, my mother died of lung cancer early 2016.
Oh,
So that ended up being her, basically what she left for me.
her inheritance.
So
Wow, man. Sorry to hear that.
So she got to see one of the end products, which I was happy about, and she saw it on HGTV, which was really stupid. That's how I found out those shows are completely fake, because they didn't film it until 6 months after these buyers bought the condo.
Hmm.
And I had nothing to do with it. Like, they didn't interview me or talk to me or any of that stuff. So they filmed it 6 months later. These people we had under agreement with them during the framing stage. So they picked out all the finishes, some of the layouts, they did all that stuff. So they're walking through on the TV show, and the other two condos they walked through just happened to be on MLS at the time, that obviously they had no intention of looking at. They come into my unit, which they had already bought, and they had already furnished, and they had already picked out everything. And they're just walking through. This is amazing. I love this place. Look at the finishes in the kitchen. I love how they staged this with the couch. And I'm like yelling at my TV. I'm like, that's your couch.
I didn't know it was that blatant. I thought it was like they already chose the place, but now let's walk through a couple, and we know you already chose this. We'll kind of play it up. But they were in it. They designed it.
Yeah. And they called the condominium complex something different than what I called it. They had the purchase price different. They had a couple other things it was just like nothing about it was true.
How different was the purchase price?
It was off by like 50 grand.
Oh, why? Like high? They marked it up or down? What did they?
I think they marked it up.
Make it sexier or something? There had to be a storyline.
I guess. I mean, maybe it's because it was in line with the purchase price of the other two properties. I don't know.
Yeah, not make it so easy. Like, oh, well, that's the cheapest one, so you're going to get that one, right? Like, not make it so easy to the viewer. Yeah. That's fascinating, man. I didn't know it was that staged. I knew it was staged, but not that staged. That's unbelievable. So these people become actors. And
I've also met some of the like HGTV or Bravo people on real estate shows, and everything is 100% fake.
Yeah, that's awesome. Reality TV, as they call it. So
yeah,
very good. Well, let's dive into these Gobundance member questions. If you're ready, we'll dive in with the first one about the Gobundance pillars. I should write these down, but I'm going to list them out just in case you don't know what they are, or people listening don't know what they are. Bucket list adventure, authentic relationships, extreme accountability, age-defying health, horizontal income, and there's another one. Authentic relationships.
Authentic relationships. Yep.
That's what I didn't say. So in which one of those pillars are you crushing it right now?
I think authentic relationships. I think since I've joined Gobundance, I've really, I mean, a lot of guys I would say something similar, which is that the conversations you have with guys in Gobundance are just very different from people you grew up with, people you know locally, just because we have, in general, a different mindset, different goals, and that makes it a lot easier to connect, I think. with the guys, which I mean, you've seen every time there's a conference or a get together, it just the one thing everybody loves is the connecting with the other members,
Yeah.
because we all just kind of feel more comfortable, safer, like we can open up and to tell like it is and get advice like it is. Well, just locally, one of the Justin Jarbo runs the kind of Boston area Gobundance group, and I've just we have a lot of things in common. We get together like every other week to like have a cigar together, either his house or my house, or meet in the middle somewhere, because we live about half an hour from each other. And we can just talk, we can catch up with each other because we know a lot about each other at this point. And it's a great relationship, and it's one of those things I think it's been missing from me for a while, because like I said, there's only, some of the people I grew up with still think what I do is not even real. They think it's like it's not possible to do what I do and have as much free time as I have, but also make as much money as I do.
Yeah. No, I
Which,
love
to be
that.
fair, is, there's plenty of guys that make way more money than I do. But
Sure.
actually, my wife sent me a story the other day that really resonated with me. And I'm not sure how many people it would, but Justin and I were talking about, like I met him last week, and like, what'd you do today? Well, I went, dropped my daughter off at school. I went to the gym with my wife. I did the jacuzzi. I did the sauna, took a shower. I did a little bit of work, maybe an hour or so, and then I went out to lunch with Justin, and then we had a cigar together after that, and came home. Then my kids came home. I think I mowed the lawn and went to my son's baseball game. That's I love that. That's great for me. So anyway, the story she sent me was about this fisherman, and I thought it actually really resonated with me. And it's a fisherman who's fishing on a pier, and a tourist comes up to him and says, "Oh, that's a lot of fish you're getting." And the fisherman says, "Yeah, I like that. I do a little bit of fishing, and then I go home." And the guy's like, "Well, what do you do at home?" "Well, I hang out with the kids. I go to lunch with my wife. We play guitar. We go out in the village at night, and then sleep late." And the guy's like, "Well, you could do a lot more. You don't have to do that much, but you could do a lot more fishing and sell the extra fish you have." And the guy's like, "Well, then what?" "Well, then you can scale your business. You can buy a boat, and you can get even more fish. And with all those fish, then you can buy a second boat." And then the guy's like, "Okay, well, then what?" "Well, then you can buy a whole fleet of trawlers and scale your business, and get your company to go public, and then the millions roll in." "Okay, then what?" "Well, then you can retire, and you can move to a small village on the East Coast, and you can sleep late and go fishing for a little bit, and then go home and play with your kids and take your wife out to lunch." And the guy's like, "Why do I need 25 years to do that? I'm doing that now."
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great,
And
I
I
love
just
that.
it resonated with me, because I think that's not for everybody, sure, but I think it puts it in perspective for what your actual goals are with what you're doing.
That's amazing. I love that. That is a great story. And it's so true, right? We get sidetracked on doing all this stuff to one day, when right now, like you said, I love what you said. You went, hung out with Justin, did this, came home, kids came home, mowed the lawn before, or whatever, and you get to enjoy your day. You've got this freedom, and you're not afraid to hustle, obviously. So if you need to, you will. But there's a priority you placed on other parts of your life that, you're right, a lot of people do wait till they're 65 or 70 if they can, hopefully one day, do exactly what you're doing right now. So it's a
Right.
well-lived life.
And granted, my kids are 14 and 11, so I don't want to miss their sports. I don't want to miss their shows and dances and stuff like that. So when they graduate high school, is that going to change? Yeah, probably, because they won't be at home anymore. So it's, for me specifically, that's why that story kind of resonates, because that's kind of where I want to be.
Love it. All right, let's flip it around. So in which GoBundance pillar could you use more support or accountability?
I would say my horizontal income. I feel like the last maybe 5 or 6 deals I've done, I've been like, "Oh, this looks great. It's going to cash flow right away. It's going to do this," and then it ends up not being like that so much at all. And after so many deals, I started to realize that the Burr method for value add multifamily, which is basically what I was doing for a while, It's I think a better description of it is a long-term fix and flip, because in the market that I'm in, multifamily really does appreciate a lot quicker than a lot of the other parts of the country. So, I actually just spoke with friend of mine, Nate Fisher in Gobundance, and
Love it.
he's about to crush a building that he's buying for 33. I think he's buying like 35 or $38,000 a unit, like 30 units. And I was like, and he showed me a picture of the building, and I'm like, so you're buying this for just over $1 million. I was like, if you put this in Worcester, this is a $6 million building. And it doesn't cash flow at $6 million, but people will pay $6 million for that.
Yeah.
So where I am, trying to buy a multifamily for immediate cash flow and very passive, it's really not a thing. And when you're buying, sure, can you add value and then eventually maybe 18, 24 months later start to really cash flow? That I think is true. But in that time period, you've probably appreciated it to the point where, geez, you might want to sell it. So we just did that with two of our multis where we did stabilize it. The income got a little better to the point where we would make maybe an extra $8,000 to $12,000 a year in net income. But it appreciated to the point where we sold it for an extra 200 grand. Every quarter, I would say, I look at all of our portfolio and I'm like, okay, well, how much is this bringing in now? If we sold it today, basically the metric I use first and foremost is, if I can sell this now, am I going to get at least 8 years of net income in a check in 60 days? And if that's the case, I'm going to sell it. And move on to something else.
Makes sense. I was going to say, you got like 20 years, that additional income versus what you got was like 20 years worth of that, like 8 to 12 a year that you said in additional income, but you were able to do it for over 200,000. It sounded like, right? So you got like 20 years worth or whatever I think I did that math wrong, but you get my point. You got a long runway.
Yeah. I mean, we have a multifamily right now in New Hampshire that no plans to sell it whatsoever. I got cold called by a VA and got me in touch with her boss. And he was just an investor and he gave us a good enough offer. And now we thought we were going to keep this for 10 plus years. And now we're going to sell it.
Wow.
Because we're going to get enough income and we're going to put that money into a development that we're doing near the beach. That'll be short-term rentals, but it'll be new construction, which is more and more what we want to get into. I'm a little bit hesitant now to get back into like B and C class housing when we're actually pretty good at new construction, and it's just a nicer asset to have. When you have a nicer asset, you generally get better tenants, and everything can be automatic and a whole lot easier. And like one of the buildings that we have right now, 47 units in Worcester, has no parking whatsoever, and it's not because of the parking. We've had a lot of other challenges with the building in general. But before that, I always used to say, I want to have plenty of parking at a building I have. And the reason is, if you tenants who want to come there are probably coming there because you have off-street parking, and they want off-street parking because they have a car. And if they have a car, that means they got to get to work. And if they got to get to work, they can probably pay their rent.
Yeah, makes sense. I was going to ask you, is that the mitigation plan for the lack of cash flow, is put money into development, or are you looking at potentially going out of market?
We pretty much stay in the New England area for the most part. We had our one chance to buy something out of state got me to testify in front of a grand jury for a guy who was scamming people in the tens of millions of dollars range. So we're hesitant to get out of our market again at the moment.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Okay. Good answer. Good answer. Yeah. Spike the football on that one. Where in your life are you potentially flirting with disaster?
Well, I would say that I wouldn't say disaster. I have a few projects that are just kind of time and money sucks that I want to, and there's not much I can do in terms of like, if I tried to sell it, it would either be a loss or a very, very minimal gain. And I also don't have a ton of extra liquidity to just, pump it in there. And I always really feel like if you have an unlimited piggy bank and you just have to keep pumping and pumping into a project, then it wasn't a good project to start with. And you shouldn't have been really, it's nice that you have that liquidity, but
It's a good point.
That can't be a good business model,
It's a
right?
great point.
So, so there's just a few. I think we're partners with some other people on some syndications that are going for the most part pretty well, but we're all kind of growing together a little bit. And personally, I wish we would do a little bit better with reporting and communicating and updating everyone with what's going on. Just because one of the partners, he's like, he's the rich dude, he's the property manager, he's a genius with metrics and numbers and underwriting and all sorts of stuff. Very, very good. But his communication skills, even he will tell you, are lacking quite a bit. And I'm trying to get him in the mode of just better communication in general, which is something that I actually learned from Gobundance, because there's plenty of syndicators in Gobundance, and a lot of them just have really, really unbelievable communication skills. And I think that makes a difference when you're trying to put your money with somebody. There's some people that are like, here's 200 grand, let me know when I'm getting it back in 6 years. There are people like that, sure, but not a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. I agree with you. It is a benefit. I think of a guy like Devin Elder. I feel like he communicates really, really well, both himself and through his systems, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I've always enjoyed listening to him. So you talked about relationships being the area you're crushing it, and you gave some really good stuff there, but I want to ask this: in what specific way has Gobundance impacted your life? Is there a story, a memory, a moment, or something like that where you could say, you know what, this is because of Gobundance? Good or bad, I guess.
Geez, I actually probably have several to choose from. I think it was maybe the first time I did a one sheet with a group. I went right after someone else did a one sheet, and their one sheet crushed mine. So, we're not all trying to compare, but in some ways I'm like, geez, I don't want to go after this guy who just told me his horizontal income is like 2 million a year and he's got a private jet. I'm just like, oh, I got to take off a zero here and figure this out. But the feedback I got was really good. And it was unbiased, and it was non-judgmental, and it was extremely helpful. And they gave me a couple things that I had no idea that I was doing that were negatively affecting me that I needed to correct. And I think I get something out of a one sheet every time I do it in a group. Because they're not perfect. I mean, I was at Miami.
Oh, Miami, yeah. I saw you in Miami. Yeah.
Or no, maybe it was Tahoe. We had somebody doing a one sheet in front of everybody with Aaron West, and he had done like hundreds of one sheets, and Aaron still ripped it apart. I feel like that's something Aaron's very good at.
Yes.
But it just goes to show you that you're always, there's no like end, like, oh, this is my final one sheet and like I'm good. Like you're just always improving, changing, modifying, trying to make yourself better.
I love that. Yeah, the one sheets is funny. Like they are such a simple tool. Not the first time. Take a little effort the first time to figure it all out, but as you update it, it's such a simple tool. But I agree with you, man. Like my pod does it religiously every quarter, and at events or whatever, it never fails. It always has something. It could be small. Sometimes it's huge, but there's always something that kind of like you get alignment on it. You realize how you're mismatched with what you said you want and what your goals are or whatever it might be. So no, I like that. It's a great example. What advice would you give to a new or prospective Gobundance member?
I would say lean in, meaning I think as men in general, it's a little bit more difficult compared to women to really open up about personal things, even if they're personal financial things or personal relationship things that might be embarrassing or pain points or things you don't do right and you still are doing it. But those are the exact things that you need to be talking about, because if you don't bring them up, they're not going to get fixed or you're not going to get help. And sometimes it's just a matter of sharing it. right? Like maybe you don't even need somebody to fix it. Maybe you just need to vent about something going on, and that's the benefit that you're getting out of it. You're going to lose out a lot if you don't really open up and be a completely open book with other guys, because if there's ever a place to do that, it's within those circles.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Great answer. We're going to end it with the Gobundance card game, and we're going to talk a little bit about this project that you've got. But the last Gobundance question is, describe the next 5 years of your life and your plans in a single sentence.
Single sentence. I actually thought about this the other day, and I kept being a paragraph. And a single sentence, I would say, I am going to be enjoying life to the utmost of my ability, while also helping as many people as I can and providing for the family.
That's pretty good, man. On the spot. I didn't tell you that question in advance. That was really good. That was right on point. So awesome answer. All right.
I did do like 7 or 8 podcasts prior to this one just to warm up to it. Just so I had to be able to crush the Tribe of Millionaires podcast.
Yes, you do. Yes, because you've arrived now. You've arrived.
Right.
There's a real estate app out there, Flip Trader. What is Flip Trader? Tell me about this project. This is your entry into the tech world. What is this?
Right. So a few years ago, my partner and I, we do probably 6 to 8 wholesales a year, and it's still just it's a very archaic process. Like we'll find a deal, I'll put together a deal packet, all the information, and you have to blast it out to 8 or 10 Facebook groups and your email list and local real estate meetups. And it's like, okay, so I did all that, and now I got a ton of information back from people who are interested. Now I have to remember, where did I meet you? Where did I find you? When do you want to come see it? And it got very cumbersome. And we thought, why can't we just put together this online platform for buying and selling off-market real estate? And there's issues with that, not legal issues, but a lot of times when people are wholesaling properties, they don't want the seller to know, for example. So, which is why you can't get something under agreement and then try to relist it on MLS right away, right? Because they'll see it immediately, and so will their agent. So this is like the off-market platform to be able to put all that together. And we have some proprietary tools like deal analyzers, rehab estimators, comp sheets. So if I get a wholesale deal, I can put all the information. We drag from Zillow's API to get a lot of the properties information that you can upload with pictures, comps, your own budget and everything. And then you, Jamie, say, oh, I like that one. Let me ship this. I'm going to send this to my partner and see what he thinks. Oh, he likes it. Okay, I want to buy this. So I'm going to get in touch through the platform to buy this deal. And then, okay, well, we need a hard money lender. Well, I've already got all the information, literally. So I'm just going to put it all together and do a 1-page deal packet and send it to my hard money lender. And now my hard money lender, the hard money lenders are actually jumping at us to start this, because now instead of getting 15 different emails with all the information on a single family, now they have a 1-page PDF deal packet. Now they can sift through hundreds of deals a day instead of 10. There will be some ancillary things like the way we drew the site kind of looks a little bit like LinkedIn. So you can connect with people, you can find people. Let's say, for instance, you want to find other real estate investors in the Dominican Republic where you are.
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to do that? I don't even know how you would do that.
But
if you have your location set up on Flip Trader, then you can just go search and find who else is around. So, and not only that, I need a plumber. Well, what plumbers are on here that are local and can take a look at this right away? Or I need a general contractor. I've got the deal packet. I can just ship that to the general contractor with the budget estimate and all zeros, and he can fill that out and give me an estimate right away.
What's the timeline on this project? Do you have an anticipated release date? Are you going to be raising for it? What does this look like?
Yeah. So far we have a few friends and family investors. We put some of our own money in. We've gotten to the point where we've got a Figma, which is kind of like it's like a sort of website. So you can, there are things that you can click on through the website, but you can't click on everything. It's just there to show you kind of what it would look like if you click through the whole thing. And we have a pitch deck. I think at this point, the issue is that my business partner and I, for sure, are not tech savvy. My business partner has a hard time with email. I'm better than that, but not by a ton.
Yeah.
So we're at this point kind of looking for that kind of tech savvy partner. We have a company that I found through Gobundance actually that can do the actual build of the app. We just need that tech partner to kind of come in and help drive that to the finish line, because there are certain aspects of questions that happen throughout the build of a mobile app that I won't even. It's like speaking Greek to me, and it's just stuff that I don't know how to answer. So we need to find a strategic partner to do that, help raise some funds, which actually is less than you would think. I think we only need to raise about $500,000 or so, and that will get it launched. But I think it's something that could go pretty big. There's obviously other apps and websites out there that do one, maybe two aspects of what we do, but nothing that does all of it.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're definitely not inventing something completely new. We're just creating a better mousetrap.
I love it, man. That's incredible. And like I said, I'll introduce you to an Emerge guy that I think can, whatever it turns out to, but at least help or guide or maybe connect you to whomever, or maybe he's the guy, who knows, but happy to do it. Cause that's cool. I love seeing these sorts of things get off the ground. So where can people learn more about you, reach out? I don't know if you're a big social guy or if you just want to direct them to the site for your app, but what's the best place for people to learn more about you?
Probably through Facebook or just my email. I have Instagram. I actually looked yesterday and I've had Instagram for 5 years. I've never made a post, so I'm probably not going to be anytime soon. So those are the only two socials that I'm really on. But otherwise, usually Facebook is the main place to find me.
Amazing. Appreciate you jumping on and doing this, man. Great catching up with you. Are you in Lake Oconee for either event, Champion or Elite?
I will be at the Champions event.
You got in. It's been waitlisted for like 4 months.
Oh, I got in right away.
Smart man. Are you going to Jackson Hole or
no?
no?
My hotel, but I got in.
Yeah. Are you going to Jackson Hole too or no?
No, not Jackson Hole.
Gotcha. I'll be in Lake Oconee, I think, for both. So it'll be good to see you down there and catch back up. So good seeing you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.